Every set has an economy trait that can give you amazing cash outs. Some of them will straight up win you the game. In set 9, we have Piltover, but this trait has an interesting dilemma. As a player, you constantly have to ask yourself, do I want to sell my T-Hex for loot, or do I want to play her for a stronger board? Well, I'm not going to answer this question for you. Instead, I want to focus on something that is much more important. How do you even get enough stacks for this question to become relevant? After all, if you mess up your lose streak, you can pretty much throw that toy version of a T-Hex straight into the trash can. Here are 2 ways on how to get your T-Hex to full power and a bonus trick for reaching 6 Piltover. The first trick is pretty well known, which is cornering your melee units. Oftentimes, you can find yourself in a position of your opponents playing extremely weak boards, either because they play Piltover themselves or simply because they want to lose streak to get more value out of their augments. This is why one of the most popular tricks for a Piltover opener is to body block one of your melee units in the bottom right. As long as the opponent has a melee unit in the first row, your ranged units won't move. This will effectively weaken your board since you are now playing at a unit disadvantage. A lot of players like to use this strategy during stage 2 and swap to a normal setup starting with stage 3. For the second trick, we will use something that worked with previous economy traits as well: delaying the emblem. Let's say you start with the Urf Legend, take Ancient Archives, and find yourself a Piltover emblem. Having the emblem gives you an advantage over augments like Piltover Heart because you get to decide if you want to activate the trait or not. This is how it works. You keep 2 Piltover on your board and the emblem on the item bench. You wait until combat starts and figure out if you're currently losing or winning the fight. If you can confirm that you will lose the fight, you place the emblem on one of your units. It does not matter if you activate the trait mid-combat, the game will award you with these stacks for your T-Hex in the following round. This is a pretty cool strat. I mean, it doesn't really make a difference if you miss out on playing a 100 HP T-Hex anyways, and in return, you are in full control over your Piltover streak. You might run into Aurelian players who sell their entire board, or maybe another player in your lobby simply disconnected from the game. In these cases, you simply don't use the Piltover emblem and continue to gather stacks in the following round. This is making it impossible to grief your setup. For our final trick, let's do something crazy. Did you ever want to reach 6 Piltover early? Maybe you started with the Prismatic Augment, Ancient Archives 2, but only the first tome gave you the Piltover emblem. In this case, you can take an elusive emblem from the second tome and approach the game from a completely different angle. Set yourself up with a normal Piltover opener like I showcased in the previous example, but in this game, your goal is not to create a super large T-Hex. In fact, you only want to lose streak during stage 2. After 5 losses, your T-Hex will have exactly 18 stacks. So if you win in stage 3-1, you can sell her afterwards for a 30% chance to receive a Tome of Traits. This will give you an additional chance for 6 Piltover in stage 3-2 if you miss out on the Piltover Heart augment. In case you get unlucky again, you can try to salvage your spot by going for a win streak. As I mentioned in a previous video, if you sell the T-Hex at 1 stack, you will receive either a magnetic remover or a reforger. Stack the elusive emblems on the same unit and reforge them. Trust me, this works great. And there is absolutely zero chance you will ever get screwed over by RNG. I hope you learned something and see you next time. Okay, reforge 1, go. Targon, no. Reforge 2. Gunner again, nice try. That is not how it's supposed to work.